So we all have multiple control patterns. This is exciting to begin to be aware of your different control patterns. And underneath those control patterns, what we're trying to do is protect those tender spots on our ego. So we've learned, oh, if I go there, it's going to cause pain, or if I go there, somebody's going to try to control me. So I've got this nice, comfortable little routine and all these patterns where I pretend to be okay with the situation rather than upset or angry. Well, all of those patterns that we have been conditioned into, we need to start dismantling those so that we can learn to surf life rather than trying to control life. If you think of the surfer is not in his head. The surfer is not saying, oh, well, that looks like this, so I better do this. And this is the way life is right now. It's one big wave after another. There's no time to think it through like that. We have to become like surfers. And so we have to clear out that baggage moment to moment with our loved ones or with somebody that we meet here. But we have to be able to do that in skillful ways. A lot of people say, well, I've tried honesty, and I'm too honest. It gets me into trouble. Well, usually, when I hear that question, I'll say, will you tell me about a time when you thought you were too honest, and what happened? And what they will usually tell me is sometime where they were really angry, and they didn't own it. They were making either judgments or helpful suggestions to this other person. They weren't really being present with themselves. They were what I call on the other person's side of the net, telling, like, my partner doesn't have time to be with me over several weeks. He doesn't have enough time, and I'm getting angry and I'm getting hurt. But instead of being aware of that and talking about that, the control pattern level of things would look like this. We need to get you into a time management course. You know, that's disguised anger, and that's the kind of thing that I hear a lot where people say, I'm too honest and it gets me into trouble. There's other examples I could give, but they all have to do with coming from the intent to control rather than the intent to relate. And that's another very important distinction in the getting real work. One of the important truth skills is simply being able to say the phrase, I have some feelings to clear, and then use the feedback skill that I just shared, which is when this happened, this was the result for me. And if you're relating, which is the third truth skill that I'm mentioning right now, you would speak that, you would give that feedback, but you would also say, and now I'm wondering how that's landing in you. Because relating is two-way. Controlling is trying to get the other person to change so that you'll feel better. So control, when I speak about relating versus controlling, control means all those unaware patterns that every one of us have that protects us from having an unwanted outcome. Like the other person thinking that I'm too needy, the other person getting angry, causing some kind of conflict, the other person losing interest in me if it's a dating situation. I have a book over on the table and at my booth called Truth in Dating, Finding Love by Getting Real. And how we really find love is to live in this bigger world that includes discomfort, that includes opening up to the fact that I have buttons, that I have buried fears, and wanting to, see, getting real is wanting to know what's down there in my subconscious, and in a sense, you know, welcoming it, possibly with mixed emotions, but welcoming it when I get to see that, oh man, that rejection button is still there after all these years. Having some form of delight in the expansion of my comfort zone. See, this is the new paradigm. This allows you to surf life rather than trying to control it.